Hey, what's going on, YouTube? This is Valsa, and today we're talking Warpets. Now, we all know that Mag Zay are one of the top tier marches in the game. You would even say they have a legitimate argument that they're the single best duo in the game. And part of the reason they're so strong is their versatility. Not only are they a top tier archer march, they can form an extremely strong mage march too. Well, that really brings us to the topic of today's video. For while Mag Zay have a pet specifically designed for them when they are leading archers, what do you do when you got them leading mages? Well, you can stick them on one of the magic-based members of the Phaedric family, right? The Sapphire, the Seraphic, or the Shadow. Those absolutely work with Mag Zay. But there is a bit of a drawback there. All three of those pets depend, pretty much exclusively on their rage skill to do damage. You'll go through the rage cycle, your primary hero will cast their rage skill, then the deputy casts their rage skill, then the Warpet casts its rage skill, and then assuming you have follow-up, that's when that goes off, right? What's the issue with that? Well, neither Mag nor Zay have a rage skill. And that doesn't mean it won't work. If you send a Mag Zay march out with a pet that has a rage skill, you'll still get a rage cycle, and the rage cycle will pretty much be exclusively for the pet. You can take a look at my Mag Zay fighting here with its Shadow Manticore. The rage bar you see is entirely for the pet on that march. So it still works, but here's the downside. Mages generally really lean heavily on their hero skill damage and only to a slightly lesser extent to their rage cycle. And so you typically build them out to supercharge their rage cycle as much as possible. Here's my Lily build, for example. It's a pretty common build. You can see that I've got Head Held High, Spirit of Rage, and Foresight all selected. This means that if you put a Sapphire on a Lily Valen March, for example, it'll trigger more often than if you put a Sapphire on a Mag Zay. It will still work on the Mag Zay, just not as well. Well, isn't that going to be a problem for all pets? Well, Mag Zay's archer pet has a deliberate design around that. Specifically, its rage skill is a secondary damage source. Alright, the primary damage source in the Shadow Manticore is the Amber skill, which has an 80% trigger chance every round. Well, there is another alternative, and one that works for both archers and mages, and that's the Sand Lizard. And the reason you might strongly consider a Sand Lizard for a Mag Zay mage march is that the heal skill of the Sand Lizard, Stone Aura, is not based on the rage cycle. It hard triggers every 6 seconds you're in combat. Alright, this isn't a cut and dry choice. Even though the Phaedrics won't work as well on a Mag Zay Mage March as they will with the traditional mages, they'll still work, and they'll still do some damage, which is what you're trying to do. The Sand Lizard ain't going to do any damage. And it's very reasonable to prefer one of the Phaedrics over the Sand Lizard. Right, the Seraphic in particular also does some healing in addition to its damage, and that takes advantage of some of the synergies you have with the Mag Zay march. And we'll cover the Seraphic build in a later video, but for now, let's assume that you want to go with the Sand Lizard for your Mag Zay magic build. The Sand Lizard is a very versatile pet, and there are two main paths when it comes to Sand Lizards. The first is just the utility build. I need something that's going to give me some value with this march. I'm not looking to make a huge investment in time or resources here, I just need something. The second path is what we call the heal ball, where you get 4 or 5 Sand Lizards together, and you make each of their healing as strong as possible. And then you go around with your 4 or 5 ranged marches, all with Sand Lizards, staying alive forever, or at least a very long time. The heal ball can be very effective, but it does require significant investment in time and resources. One additional factor to consider, Sand Lizard has a very atypical distribution of attributes. It has a very high potential for strength, intelligence, agility, and spirit, something you don't typically see in other pets, and very low potential for endurance and luck. As we go through the potential skills, I'll be focusing primarily on the skills where your Sand Lizard is likely to have a strong attribute, and less on the endurance and luck skills. Okay, with all that in mind, let's look at some of the skills that are not going to be relevant for your magic Mag Zay Sand Lizard march. First of all, this is a magic march, obviously, so we can disregard all physical skills, which sadly includes Chain Strike. This pet does no damage, so we can disregard all pet damage boosters, such as Magic Fortune, Elemental Harmony, and so forth. Follow-up, sadly, does not work with the Sand Lizard, so that entire follow-up package is gone. Mag Zay do no skill damage, so there's no point in anything like Magic Pulse. They also have no rage cycle, so no use including Outbursts of Rage on this pet. Alright, so what can we include? Well, first, obviously, we have the Stone Aura package, right? Stone Aura is the talent skill. It'll heal up to 4 of your legions every 6 seconds at base. Intense Stone Aura is the Pet Shop skill. It restricts the healing from your Sand Lizard to only the Warpet's Legion, but increases the effectiveness. Personally, I don't think this is good, right? Either for the utility build or the heal ball build. How often do you run Maggrat all by itself? I mean, I guess in the statue fights, but that's about it, right? You're pretty much always sending out multiple range marches, all of whom could benefit from being splash healed from your Sand Lizards. I don't think it's a worthwhile skill, especially at the cost of a skill slot and resources to purchase. Advanced Stone Aura is the Amber skill, and it reduces the cooldown of Stone Aura by 1 second for every 135 agility you have. So you're looking for a breakpoint of 207 agility to reduce your cooldown by 2 seconds. Right, that'll make Stone Aura go off every 4 seconds instead of 6. That's a 1/3 reduction. That's pretty powerful. It's an Amber skill, and those things are costly. It's not worth it if you're just going for the utility build. However, if you're going for the heal ball build, I think it is worth investing in. The next set of skills to consider is what I call the healing package. Divine Blessing is a strength-based skill, and Tranquility is a spirit-based skill. Both of these improve your Warpet's healing. Right, now they do stack, and I think they're both worth including here. Finally, we have Great Care, an intelligence-based skill that provides a second healing source for the pet, a 10% chance to heal every second. Since we're already including 2 healing buffs for this pet, and since Maggrat have some healing synergies we're trying to grab here, I think this is worth including as well. So Maggrat mages only do normal attack damage. The typical normal attack boosters are all physical damage. Is there anything that will boost normal magic attack? Yes, there is one skill, Sudden Epiphany, right? The skill's been renamed more times than I can count. It's intelligence based, and it'll give you a plus Legion magical attack. That's useful here, it's worth including. Alright, now that's 5 or 6 skills, depending on whether or not you grab the Amber skill. Right, and 3 of those skills are intelligence based, so you're capped there. At this point, you're pretty much out of skills that either are directly on plan, or they're going to help with your synergy for this pet. So assuming you have additional skill slots to fill, you should look to what your highest attributes are and add some of the following. For pets with high strength, consider Shield Breaker. For pets with high agility, you should consider Poison Gland, or if you need movement speed, Wild Agility. For high spirit pets, you should consider Robust Body. I don't love pure strength, but it will function. Now, I mentioned earlier, Sand Lizards typically have low endurance and low luck. If you have a decent endurance score, you can consider Terra Barrier, Bristles, or Heart Wall. They'll all function. They're not really on plan. They're kind of poor choices, but you don't have any great choices anyway, so maybe. With luck talents, Interruption's okay. Gentle Breeze is worse, and Guardian Oath is terrible. So here's my recommendation for a Maggrat Magic Sand Lizard. In addition to the talent skill, include the healing package and Sudden Epiphany. Only go for the Amber skill if you're building a healing ball and your pet has at least 270 agility. Based on whatever attributes you are strong in, fill out any remaining skill slots with some of the following. Hey, that's it, and thank you to everyone for stopping by. If you enjoyed this content or found it helpful, please hit that like and subscribe button. Remember, you can send me your war pets if you'd like me to take a look or review them, and I will be featuring the strongest war pets in the game right here on this channel. Look for more details in the description below, and until next time, stay classy, Belleron.